Hello everybody, welcome to JAIIB CAIIB English Medium channel. I hope all of you are doing fine. Today in this particular video, we will be deciphering that what all important topics are there for the IE and IFS subject when we talk about the module A. So there are 4 modules as you must be knowing in the Indian economy and Indian financial system, which is the paper 1 also of JAIIB exam. And when we talk about the module A, it is of prime importance because it introduces us to the Indian economic architecture. Fine. Via this particular series, we will be covering module B, C and D also. But today, let's focus solely on module A's important topics. Again, I'm saying the same thing that if you have any query regarding your IE IFS subject, feel free to ask me in the comment section. So here, the 11 units of module A are in front of you for the Indian economic architecture. When we talk about the overview of this particular module, you'll be surprised to know that many candidates who have secured good marks in IE and IFS, they have a strong hold on module A. Normally we say that module D is the most important module, but if you have a good hold, a strong hold indeed on your module A, then you have the chances to secure beyond 60 marks because these are fairly simple topics as compared to your module B or for that matter module D. Okay, so you must target this particular module. Do not make the mistake of leaving it till the end. Fine. Right now we have ample amount of time. If you are doing self study, I would highly recommend to start your journey, your preparation with module A only. And these 11 units, all these 11 units are very much important for the entire module A. But selectively, if you want to know that which module, which particular unit we must emphasize more, then it will be unit number 4, unit number 8, unit number 9 and unit number 10. Why? Because most of the questions in the previous year examinations, they have been asked from these 4 units. But should we leave the remaining units? Answer is no. Start with the unit 1, that is overview of Indian economy. Then we will be moving towards the sectors of Indian economy. So these 2 units, the first 2 units, they will lay the foundation. Fine. These are just the foundational units of your Indian economy. They will lay a good foundation. Starting from the British era till today, what is the overall scenario of our economy? That will be discussing in unit 1. In unit 2, we'll be talking about the sectors of economy, be it the primary sector, secondary sector, or for that matter, tertiary sector, which is further divided into quaternary and quinary sector. Fine. Unit 3, economic planning in India and Niti Aayog. Here, the most important part, although if we go by the previous exams, it is Niti Aayog, but the potential of asking questions is huge from the planning commission as well, because we have 12 5-year plans. We'll be looking into various subtopics which are important in the next slides, but right now let me just give you an overview. Then we have unit 4, role of priority sector, MSME in Indian economy. Every year we find that in both the exam cycle, be it May or November, good number of questions are asked from your unit number 4. Here the priority sector guidelines, which are revised from you can say in regular basis, that particular revised limit you must know, be it for the housing or for that matter MSME, or when we talk about the infrastructure, overall infrastructure, agriculture, overall priority sector lending norms, that you must know. MSME specifically, you should focus on the schemes. There are various schemes that are asked in the examination and students find it very much tricky because they have not read the schemes in and out. So do not leave any scheme which is mentioned in the syllabus, because we are expecting in May 2026 to have good amount of questions based on schemes. Unit 5, infrastructure including social infra, wherein you will be talking about the difference between hard and soft infrastructure. The physical infrastructure on one hand, on another hand you will be discussing about the social infrastructure, and here also the schemes are of prime importance. So whatever the schemes, the government initiatives are, they become automatically important here as well. Unit 6 talks about the globalization. It is more or less all about the definition. The first definition of the globalization you must remember. The second definition will be of the protectionism. If you understand both these definitions, whatsoever the question is from your unit number 6, you can easily handle that. Then comes unit 7, economic reforms. Although this unit is very, very important, but in examination you will find more questions from the module C, which is just an extension of economic reforms. In module C, there is a chapter where you will find good description of various committees. There you will have all those committees which we will be discussing in unit number 7 as well. That is why it is not marked as star like your unit 4, 8, 9 and 10, but again its significance is good. Then comes foreign trade policy, the FTP, foreign investment and economic development. Here this chapter is a mix of both the concepts as well as the latest updates. Fine. So FTP 2015-20 is written in the book, but you should know that what all important aspects are there in the latest FTP, that is of 2023. Foreign investment, more or less we talk about the FDI, foreign direct investment, what is the difference between FDI, FII, which is again important. Lastly, the economic development versus economic growth. The particular discussion is very, very important because from there analytical questions can be asked. Then comes international economic organizations, mainly the World Bank Group, the IMF and the World Trade Organization. But in November exam, we have seen one striking feature of this particular subject, that IIBF has asked question from the remaining world organizations as well, like one question was on BRICS. So you can expect certain questions from the regional economic organizations also. Unit number 10 talks about climate change and SDGs. From here, maximum times we have seen questions from sustainable development goals only. Right? Not much of climate change is discussed in the questions, but the sustainable development goals, the 17 SDGs, they are very, very important. Lastly, the issues facing Indian economy, one or two data points which are there related to employment, related to poverty, they are important for our examination when we talk about unit 11. So overall, when we talk about this module A, you will find a good mix of chapters where certain concepts you need to understand, like the foreign direct investment, and your second will be the globalization. Here the conceptual clarity is required. But when we talk about most of the chapters, there the questions which are asked, they are based on the latest data. So data driven study you should do for your module A. You should not leave any kind of data here. Okay. Now let's see one by one that what all important subtopics are there in your each chapter. So unit 1, overview of Indian economy. Here the most important aspect or the subtopic is structural changes. How changes occurred in Indian economy, how the primary sector was having a boom and now we do not find any relevance of the increased participation of your agri and allied activities in India. That is the major structural change which you will be talking about in the unit number 1. Okay, so basically we will start with the focus on various aspects related to the British era, how the employment scenario was then, and what about GDP, and what is the employment scenario right now, what about GDP. There will be classification of various countries based on the World Bank's data. So all these things you will be covering in unit number 1. Then comes sector of Indian economy, where all the 3 sectors, primary, secondary, tertiary, will be doing, but the most important topic is your sunrise sector. From here always IIBF asks at least one question. Fine. So what is a sunrise sector? Basically the sector driven by innovation, which is just in its infancy. Right now it has not achieved its entire potential, but in future we are expecting that it will have the particular growth as well as development of its own, as well as it will contributing to the entire economy. Then comes economic planning in India, Niti Aayog. From here, mostly question is asked from the organizational structure of Niti Aayog, that who is the CEO, CEO reports to whom, who reports to the CEO, who is the chairman, like that questions are expected. Next is role of priority sector, MSME in Indian economy. Here mostly the priority sector lending norms, questions based on the latest norms will be asked. Plus, as I was telling you, the scheme based question like Atmanirbhar Bharat, Make in India, Startups India scheme, Stand Up India scheme. All the major points of these schemes are very important. Only the major points. Then comes infrastructure including social infra, where we have health, education, family welfare as well as development of health infrastructure. So basically definition of the infrastructure, be it the social infra or the physical infra, that is first thing. Secondly, what all schemes are there, what all government initiatives are there which are very important for our examination, fine. For our country also, you can say, fine. Indian economy, it is dependent on these schemes. Ultimately the government is providing various packages to the needy people in our country thanks to these schemes only. Then comes globalization. So protectionist measures, how they are implemented in our country, in the entire world also, that particular concept you must know. Then comes economic reforms. Here the reason is very important. When we wanted economic reforms, but why? The why is very important. Then comes how of economic reforms via the LPG, liberalization, privatization and globalization. And after that, these particular reforms clubbed together with certain important committees which introduced the reforms in our country, they become important in unit number 7. FTP, your unit number 8, foreign investment and economic development, all those recent trends which are there in FII as well as FDI, they can ask you directly because it is mentioned in the syllabus. So the concept of FDI you must understand. Then what are the types of FDI, plus what are the routes via which FDI can enter in our country. International Economic Organization, World Bank, IMF, plus the World Trade Organization, along with that regional economic cooperations as well. You should not leave these regional economic cooperations because these organizations were asked in November 2025 examination. Then comes your climate change, sustainable development goals. From SDG, you can expect again 2 types of questions. One, your data based and the data for the sustainable development goal only. Second, case study in the form of once in unit number 10 they asked the case study of CSR, corporate social responsibility. So the data of SDG, along with that the cases from where the questions can be asked, you must know them. So CSR mostly they ask from there, but again when we talk about the various initiatives of RBI pertaining to the climate action, that you must also know. So we'll be learning about that, don't worry if you have subscribed to our increment 2.0 batch. Unit number 11, issues facing the Indian economy. Here again there will be certain data provided by the World Bank. So data of World Bank related to poverty, that is very important. Along with that, the employment data of PLFS. Fine. So this was it for the important topics video of your module A in IFS. If you have any kind of doubt, feel free to ask me in the comment section. We'll see you in the next class. Till then, goodbye everybody. Take care.